Imagine you could redesign the human body from scratch. You would probably fix the things that kill us with age. DNA damage, declining muscle, weakening immune defenses, cancer, heart disease, loss of regenerative capacity, and eventually, death. Because if evolution is constantly improving organisms, why didn't it simply give us bodies that repair themselves forever? And here's where the mystery gets even stranger. Some animals live for centuries. The Greenland shark can survive for hundreds of years. And the tiny jellyfish Turritopsis dohrnii can reverse its life cycle under certain conditions. So, the biological machinery for extraordinary longevity clearly exists. So why are humans not built this way? Did evolution make a mistake? Or is aging actually the predictable consequence of how evolution works? The answer begins with a surprisingly brutal idea. Evolution doesn't care about keeping you alive forever. It cares about one thing: how successfully your genes make it into future generations. If evolution is so powerful, why didn't it simply build humans to repair themselves forever? The answer begins with something surprising. Evolution doesn't care about keeping you alive forever. Natural selection mainly favors traits that help an organism survive long enough to reproduce and pass its genes to the next generation. Imagine two genetic mutations. One makes you healthier at age 20, the other keeps your body healthier at age 80. Evolution will generally favor the first one much more strongly. Why? Because at 20, survival and reproduction can have a huge effect on whether those genes continue into the next generation. But by 80, many people have already reproduced. So, a harmful effect that appears very late in life has much less evolutionary impact. This is the basic idea behind what evolutionary biologists call the selection shadow. As age increases, natural selection becomes weaker. A mutation that causes a serious disease at age 20 is strongly selected against. But a mutation that causes problems at age 85 may remain in the population because natural selection has had far less opportunity to remove it. Peter Medawar proposed this idea in his mutation accumulation theory of aging. And this creates a strange consequence. Evolution doesn't have to design aging. It only has to stop being powerful enough to eliminate every late-life problem. But there's another evolutionary theory that goes even further. In 1957, George Williams proposed antagonistic pleiotropy. The idea is simple. One gene can have multiple effects. It might help you when you're young, but harm you when you're old. Imagine a gene that improves reproduction at age 25, but increases tissue damage decades later. Natural selection can still favor that gene, because the early life benefit may be much more important evolutionarily than the late life cost. So aging can sometimes be the price of traits that were useful earlier in life. Evolution isn't choosing between aging and immortality. It's choosing between competing advantages. And that brings us to another major theory. Your body has a limited budget. Your body has limited energy and resources. You can invest those resources into growth, reproduction, or maintaining and repairing your body. Thomas Kirkwood's Disposable Soma Theory suggests that evolution faces a trade-off between reproduction and long-term maintenance of the body. Perfectly repairing every piece of DNA, every protein, and every cell would be extraordinarily expensive. If an organism can reproduce successfully without maintaining its body perfectly for hundreds of years, evolution may not strongly favor that enormous investment in repair. In other words, your body isn't necessarily built to last forever. It's built to be successful under the conditions in which your ancestors evolved. And some animals show us that completely different strategies are possible. The Greenland shark can live for centuries. And Turritopsis dohrnii, a tiny jellyfish, can under certain conditions reverse its development and return toward an earlier life stage. These animals don't prove that evolution failed to make humans immortal. They prove something more interesting. There is no universal lifespan programmed into all life. Different species evolved different strategies for survival, reproduction, and maintenance. For some organisms, extraordinary longevity can actually be advantageous. For others, investing heavily in reproduction and surviving long enough to reproduce may be the better evolutionary strategy. Now we reach the molecular level. One of our most important defenses against cancer is TP53, which produces the tumor suppressor protein PP53. When a cell suffers serious damage, P53 can help stop that cell from dividing. It can promote repair, trigger cell death, or push damaged cells into a state called senescence. That's extremely useful when you're young. It helps prevent dangerous damaged cells from becoming cancerous. But senescent cells don't necessarily disappear. They can remain in tissues and release inflammatory signals. As these cells accumulate, they can contribute to tissue dysfunction and age-related disease. So even here, biology isn't simply good or bad. A powerful defense against cancer can also participate in processes associated with aging. So, did evolution make a mistake? No. Evolution didn't necessarily program humans with a biological self-destruct button. Instead, several evolutionary forces work together. Natural selection is strongest earlier in life. Late-acting harmful mutations are harder to eliminate. Some genes can provide early life benefits while producing late life costs. And organisms have limited resources to divide between reproduction and long-term maintenance. Put all of these together, and aging begins to look less like an evolutionary mistake and more like an evolutionary trade-off. And that's what makes aging so fascinating. Evolution gave us extraordinary repair systems, but it never had to make those systems perfect forever. The real question isn't why evolution failed to make us immortal. It's whether modern science can eventually change the biological trade-offs that evolution left behind.